Hello, I'm Kevin Church, and this month for August 2021, we have Bob Sachs as our Music Songwriter of the Month. How you doing, Bob?
Doing great, Kevin. Good to see you.
It's great, man. Well, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, not a morning person, just to be clear. Crack a nooner.
I hear you. So, rumor has it that you really hate music?
Yeah, I mostly just love setting up and tearing down PA systems and playing with knobs. So, yeah. Somehow the mandolin has given me the opportunity to do that, though. And
man, I tell you.
So I suffer through the gigs. And
okay. And you've suffered with quite a few many gigs and quite with a few many people around here that play. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Every time I look, you're playing with somebody else. I mean,
well, 34 years I've been here now. So, yeah, I've had a lot of opportunity to roll through a whole bunch of the musicians locally. So
that's wild, man. So tell me how you got started with the mandolin. What drew you to it?
So many years ago, I lived in Colorado, and I moved to a little town called Green Mountain Falls. And my downstairs new neighbor came up and helped me move my stuff in the apartment. And we went downstairs, and he put on a bluegrass album, The Seldom Seen, live at the cellar door, by the way. And turns out this guy is a saxophone player. So it always kind of makes me curious about why he put on a bluegrass album, but it's what he did. And he said, right down the street at the local bar, there's a every Sunday jam. You ought to come down there and check it out, because I was really enjoying the bluegrass. And so I went down, and the guy that was playing the banjo there said, I've got a mandolin at the house. If you're interested, I'll sell to you dirt cheap. So he sat down with me and showed me a few things on the mandolin. And he said, well, you just learned everything I knew in 15 minutes. So I'm going to send you to this other guy. Other guy was David Harvey, who now works at Gibson building mandolins.
Wow.
And is a national mandolin champion. And he gave me a couple lessons and said, you don't need lessons. Come to my house. Let's pick. So we did a lot of playing together, had a mandolin orchestra and some other things. I actually filled in for him with his band one night.
Nice.
Yeah. And it just goes from there. He gave me some really good advice about playing, but I had precious few lessons.
That's wild. You just never know where the music's going to take you, man.
No, it's a wonderful ride, though.
It really is.
It's a wonderful ride, because I've managed to travel. I think I've played in about 35 of the 50 states and probably 6 different countries. So
wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool. So we got your mandolin down and where that all started. How about songwriting? When'd you start doing that?
I started off being around songwriters and just always enjoyed playing their music because it was so interesting, the stories that they would tell from their lives. And sometimes the songs were really moving one of the earliest songwriters that I got to play with was Tim O'Brien, who,
oh wow,
very well known, and has written some incredible songs. But then I moved down here to South Carolina, and I started meeting songwriters, and there is a plethora of songwriters in the Charleston area, and many of them are quite good, including several who have been in Nashville writing songs. So I think there's a wealth of songwriters here in Charleston that just kind of playing their music kind of inspired me. And I haven't written a lot of songs, but I've written, a few that I think are pretty decent ones. And it's just an inspiration comes and you just follow it where it takes you.
Right. And work on it and work on it and work on it. Right?
Yeah. Well, the song I was planning on doing today is one that I started writing 20 years ago and finished probably this year.
Wow. I'm glad you didn't give up on it. That's cool.
Well, I had it, and then suddenly this year, like another verse came to me, and it's like, oh, that needs to be in there. So
right.
There it is.
It's your song. You do
Songs
whatever you
are ever
want.
changing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. They write themselves a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about Charleston being a scene with a plethora of songwriters. You want to name drop a couple that you have played with?
I could, but there's several local songwriter open mics in town. So you see people like I mentioned Ed Honeycutt, who
yes,
come from Nashville. He was an actual Nashville songwriter, paid in Nashville to write songs. I play a lot with Carol Brown, who's a songwriter.
Right.
I play with Bob Tobin, who's a songwriter. I play with Ted McKee, who's a songwriter. Play with Dave Owens, who is an amazing songwriter. I mean, all these guys are amazing songwriters.
You just told me all the stellar songwriters.
Yeah, and these are the guys
rare
who,
breed,
who have inspired me to much of the music that I've played, and
Right.
And to some of the songs that I've written, they've kind of put seeds in my head for things. So
that's cool.
It's a wonderful ride, lots of
is.
music. It's a great thing.
Do you have anything going on that you want to tell us about with your own music that maybe you're part of, like playing with, or?
Well, interestingly, with the whole, what's been going on for the last year or so, I was one of the few lucky ones who managed to keep a gig all the way through the entire pandemic, played outside on the deck, and we play over at D.D. Pecker's, Ted McKee and I. That was always like a group of 4 or 5 guys. And during the whole, thing there, it got to be just Ted and I. And we played even on the winter out on the porch. We'd just get out the propane heaters and keep at it. And
that's cool.
So that was my saving grace, actually, because, without music, what would we do, right?
Right. Go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I still play with Ted over at D.D. Pecker's, but with now a lot of the other guys have come back. And
right.
So.
And Tobin sits in there.
Tobin is one of the other guys.
And Bruce Roberts.
Bruce Roberts, who has ARP Studios.
Yeah.
He does come in and play bass as often as he can. Guy named Larry Jeffries, who lived here years ago, moved to Nashville, and now has moved back. He's been coming in and sitting in. Dave Owens was doing it for a long time. He's not been back yet because I think he has a different Sunday gig.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
Our gig will switch when football season starts. Our gig there will switch to either Wednesday or Thursday night, and I'm hoping that he'll come back then and rejoin us.
That's awesome. Yeah, so, hope he does too. I love him, man. He's a good guy.
And great songwriter. Wow.
Fantastic. But not to talk about him too much, how about your song today you're going to do for us? What?
Okay, the song I'm going to do today is called Moving Ever On, and the original idea for the song came as I was sitting in the passenger seat of a van with the band I played with in Massachusetts, Southern Rail. I used to travel up there 3 weeks out of the month, and we would play music all over New England. And I remember sitting in the van, driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, beautiful place. And that's where the inspiration for the song came. And it was kind of the pull of music to the road and to gigs and to travel and all of that. And yet the pull of home and, my wife and, the things that you love about home. So it's like being tugged in both directions.
Gotcha.
But, and through it, you just keep moving ever on. Right.
Yeah. That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it pretty much takes care of it.
Well, I cannot wait to hear and play on it with you. And we have Karen Egan with us today.
Awesome.
It's been kind of short, man. Do you have anything else you want to tell us? Like your process of songwriting?
For me, it's mostly just when an inspiration hits me for something, and it's usually something emotional. Driving through the White Mountains is kind of an emotional experience because of the breathtaking beauty of the place,
Oh, yeah.
And music is always an emotional experience because it's so uplifting. And, home, because home is a good place. So.
Well said, my friend. Glad to have you on here today, man.
Thank you much. Eager to hear what you guys do with it.
Awesome, man. Bob Sachs, everybody.
1.
Driving down the white lines, headed for a brand new destination. Songs play on the radio, remind me of home. Soon my mind begins to wander, beauty lies ahead. Beyond the next hill on the path I choose to roam. Well, there's a place between the endless skies and the solitude I live in. This life keeps me moving ever on. Through misty air among the trees flow thoughts of home. You and me, the love I need and miss when I am gone. As I travel far and wide, I carry sweet thoughts of my bride. I miss her though she's only just a phone call away. But the road it calls me on, awake until the break of dawn. The road I'm on will take me home today. But there's a place between the endless skies and the solitude I live in. This life keeps me moving ever on. Through misty air among the trees flow thoughts of home. You and me, the love I need and miss when I am gone. the beauty I have seen. The mountains high, the waters gleam. Endless skies ahead, the sight of home is best for me. Like two lines that always rhyme, the road leads home, and there I find the rhyme of my life, my love is you. There's a place between the endless skies and the solitude I live in this life. Keeps me moving ever on. Through misty air among the trees flow thoughts of home. You and me, the love I need and miss when I am gone. The love I need and miss when I am gone. What do you think? Take?
Music sets you free.